मैम जरा उधर से आप कुछ
माइक आपका
मैंने ऑफ कर दिया है। ये म्यूट है। हाँ तो जब ये म्यूट है तो मेरी आवाज कैसे जाएगी?
आपकी आवाज नहीं जाएगी, लेकिन जब आपका स्पीकर जो बोलता है
हाँ
वो इसमें कैच
वो उससे होके हो रहा है क्या?
यूट्यूब का जो इनकोडर होता है
अच्छा
वो इतना डिले नहीं होगा, एवरी डिले।
ठीक ठीक। लेकिन जो इस पे चल रहा होगा वेबएक्स पे वो साथ जाएगा
एकदम।
तो आप यहाँ रखेंगे क्या?
आप कैसे करें?
लोग बैठेंगे नहीं, यूट्यूब यहाँ चलेगा और आपका वेब भी चलेगा। जो यहाँ बैठेगा वो कंफ्यूज हो जाएगा, वो अपना बोलेगा इधर, डिले आएगी उधर, उसका ध्यान
काम करें।
उसमें वीडियो चलता रहे, ऑडियो स्ट्रीम
बोलेंगे
उसका स्पीकर ऑफ करो। ठीक है।
वो हमने बोले सर का फोन आया था, कह रहा है मेरा ज्वाइन ही नहीं हो रहा। हेलो कहने भेजिए किसी को। हाँ सर एडिट कर दिख रहा है सर लिस्ट। हेलो अच्छा ठीक है, मतलब लेकिन चल रहा है। ठीक है
बोलो फिर से।
हेलो आ रही है उधर। ठीक है वो दिक्कत नहीं, इतने सारे लोग ज्वाइन कर चुके हैं, हमको बताइए रिजॉल्व करें प्रॉब्लम।
अंकित अरोड़ा तो गया है तो
कोई नहीं रहेगा क्योंकि क्वेश्चंस आएंगे कुछ, मैं नहीं देखना चाह रही हूँ। अगर ये स्क्रीन बंद भी हो जाए मुझे कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। पे आएंगे ना क्वेश्चन, यूट्यूब के क्वेश्चन से क्या दो जगह आएंगे, एक तो वेबएक्स की चैट पे भी आएंगे और जो यूट्यूब देख रहा होगा वो यूट्यूब पे आएगा। तो पहले हम सोचे थे कि वेबएक्स की मैं इधर देखती रहूंगी, यूट्यूब की वहां देखती रहूंगी, बट अगर उसको भी बंद कर देंगे तो मुझे दिक्कत नहीं है, मैं दोनों ही विंडो इधर ही खोल लूंगी।
नहीं तो फिर उसको चलाना
नहीं उसको नहीं चलाना है, मतलब ऑडियो नहीं चाहिए मुझे।
आप सुनो कैसे क्या बोल रहे हैं,
लिखेगा वो चैट पे भेजेगा।
अरे आप इंटरेक्टिव जो उधर स्पीकर है उससे आपका कैसे इंटरेक्शन
इधर से ही आएगा,
उस पे कंसंट्रेट करिए। यहाँ पे पिन ड्रॉप्स है, स्पीकर ऑन
स्पीकर ऑन रखिए।
हाँ मैंने ऑन रख दिया, मैंने सब कुछ
आपकी आवाज आ रही है,
देखिए
काम रखिए,
आपको सुनाएंगे
चाहे कोई बोले बात तो
नहीं
कहाँ
देखिए ऑन तो
कौन सा, ये ऊपर वाला? नहीं वो मत करो, कैमरे से उससे कुछ
सर देखिए इधर
वो तो गया फिर से और मत करना क्या चाहिए।
सर देखिए इधर क्या ये स्पीकर ऑन है, ये भी लेकिन आवाज नहीं आ रही। क्या कर रहे हैं, बात करेंगे ना
ये क्यों ऐसे सर म्यूट
आपको प्रॉब्लम हो रही है तो आपके साथ बोला
इसका मतलब आपके साथ माइक नहीं काम कर रहा है?
नहीं अभी काम कर रहा था जब इसको बंद किया था, थोड़ी देर पहले भी उसको बंद किया था।
ठीक है
हेलो एक बार उनसे पूछिए।
हाँ सर हो गया, आपका दिखा रहा है
शिशु वर्मा सर से पूछिए, मैं वो आपको सुन पा रहे हैं तो बोले
रजिस्ट्रार से पूछिए।
हेलो शिशु सर, शिशु सर, एम आई ऑडिबल?
हाँ बोलिए।
ओके सर, जस्ट आई एम। थैंक यू सर।
किस टाइप से वो होता है?
आपको रिप्लाई सुनाई देगा, आपको अपनी वॉइस नहीं सुनाई देगी।
ओके,
आपको
ये बेटर है।
ये बेटर है।
हाँ,
आपको
हाँ।
confusion
क्योंकि फिर वो आवाज गूंजती है ना वैसे।
ऑब्वियसली, और थोड़ी डिलेड होगी तो मैं कंफ्यूज जाऊंगी कि नेक्स्ट क्या बोलना है।
राइट।
ठीक है।
वो कह रहे थे कि एग्जैक्ट आवाज आपको सुनाई देगी, आप उधर का वो देखिए, किसी का चैट आंसर देखिए, लगता होगा।
ओके, तो ये अभी से स्टार्ट हो गई, वो फॉलो तो नहीं कोई।
नहीं कोई दिक्कत नहीं, ठीक है।
मैं भी कोई दिक्कत नहीं कर सकता, कोई
ठीक है, मीटिंग
ये देखो सबको वो देखिए। ये दुर्गा फेस्टिवल वो थी कि आपको
नहीं चल। कारण है जितने लोग यहाँ नहीं वहाँ भी लोग लागू कर दिए। इससे तुम्हारा कैमरा हो जाएगा गड़बड़।
मुझे लग रहा सही है।
ब्लैक वो चाहते
उसके बाद जाओ, वो प्रोजेक्टर का डिले है ना, इधर देखो, अपने को पिन करो, डबल पिन करो, तुम्हारा
कैसे आएगा?
क्या देखना चाहिए?
अंधेरा सा आ रहा था,
एक्चुअली वो पीछे से धूप लग रही है स्क्रीन पे,
इसीलिए
साइड से
तो बंद कर दूं?
उसको चाहिए ना, इधर से दिक्कत नहीं, यहाँ से दिक्कत, स्क्रीन के पीछे धूप आ रही है
उस स्क्रीन पे ना, इनका यहाँ बंद रहेगा तो ज्यादा अच्छा है।
ठीक ठीक ठीक
आपके इससे ही स्क्रीन पे।
आप सही है।
ठीक। उस पर डिलेट चल रहा है।
उसको डिले जाए,
उसको डिले देना,
उसको माइंड में लेना चाहिए
उससे कोई
और ये बेटर भी है, डिले उधर चलेगा तो कोई क्वेश्चन मिस नहीं होगा, उधर से कोई क्वेश्चन आएगा तो।
हाँ
मेल कर दिया तुमको भाई? अरे वो वही वाला जो तुम्हारा है, साइड से भाई, साइड से भाई का फॉरवर्ड करें आप। बस सबसे बात कर लो, फिर उसके बाद खाना उसको भी ऐड कर दो साथ में। तो लास्ट में होगा, लेकिन इधर लास्ट में हां सर, इधर लास्ट तक बोलने के बाद बात पहले का ठीक है ना सब।
सर ऑनलाइन आ गए।
Hello, Dr. Siddharth. Hello, Dr. Siddharth. Can you hear me? This is Professor Nagbhushan.
वो म्यूट है।
Good morning, Professor. I was muted, sorry. I can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, how are you?
I'm doing well, Professor. How are you?
Yeah, that's doing good. Very well. You are from the batch 2011, 12?
Yes.
Okay.
2011, 2015, yes.
Okay, when did you complete your BTech here?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
And then you went to University of San Diego.
Yeah, University of California, San Diego.
Yeah, okay. All right. Okay, good. All right.
Thank you for organizing this, getting everything together, Professor.
That's very nice. Okay. So during, I mean, I do not know much about your time now.
Actually, we met in 2018. I was visiting the campus and giving a small talk, and Professor U.S. Tiwari actually introduced me to you in your office.
Right. I remember. Right. You had come both of it. Right. I remember that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hope everything is going well in IIIT with reference to COVID and everybody.
Very good, very good, in fact. But unfortunately, pandemic has put away the students from us.
Exactly.
They're all online. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but I hope that safety-wise everybody is.
So you are employed at Microsoft.
I'm at Microsoft. I'm doing research here.
Where are you in which place are you working now?
I'm in Redmond near Seattle, the Microsoft headquarters.
Okay. Good. Where are your parents? They are here in India, or they are with you in Seattle only?
My family?
Yeah, your
My family
family?
is in India. They are in Meerut.
Okay. All right. Okay. Good.
Where are you right now? Are you in the campus or?
I'm in Allahabad only. I'm in the campus.
Okay.
Campus.
Yeah, the campus must be very all empty and just totally a different place without students.
Yeah. That all faculty are there. Some amount of research scholars are there, but then we miss BTech and MTech students in the campus.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Must be like a haunted place.
Very silent. It has become very silent now.
Right.
So how is your work going on?
Sorry?
How is the work going on in
Work is going well during the pandemic, so it's all work from home.
All right.
So just working from home on laptop. Sometimes have to go once in a while if you have to collect some user data.
Okay.
But I'm enjoying it, I think, more because I am able to get more time, I think, for other physical activities in the evening because the commuting time has gone.
Yes, commuting time has got reduced heavily. Good.
Right. Exactly.
And then how is the situation, Biden and Trump?
So of course Biden won and Trump is not conceding yet, but I mean he will concede at some point. That's the hope because the transition has started towards Biden.
Yeah. I mean, he insisted for recounting, and even after recounting, it is confirmed that it is Biden.
Yeah, there's no way he is winning, but he's still insisting, and he will keep on insisting. So it might lead to a more like a stronger constitutional crisis. Hopefully, we are hoping that that will not happen. Not sure.
Sir,
Tell me, Doctor. Tell me, Deepti.
Sir, nothing. There was some technical problem, so I was discussing with sir.
Okay. Shishuji?
Hello, good morning, sir.
Good morning. You are in office?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hello, Siddharth. How are you?
I'm doing well, Professor. How are you doing?
Fine.
We cannot see you yet, Professor.
Okay, just showing.
It's been many years since I saw
Yes.
you. A long time. Now I can see you. A long time.
So I think you took WSN, no?
I think you taught us 2 courses, WSN and I think one
mobile computing.
Yes, mobile computing, yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Though I was in EC department, not in IT.
Yes. So how is life there? This pandemic season has it affected?
Totally. The life has totally changed. I mean, everything has gone haywire in a sense, but I think the work from home has its own advantages. There's no commuting time, so you can just focus on other things, saving time.
Okay, well.
But it's going all right, I would say. And I think I'll be visiting India during Christmas time or something and work from home from there. So that's another advantage of work from home. It allows you to spend more time back in India, just work.
So planning not to come back to India once more?
Well, I'm planning to come back to India next month for like a month or something.
Okay. If come, then welcome at Triple IT. Let us have a
Yes,
meet.
for sure, for sure. I'll let you know if I could make a visit. It's just all about COVID. Else, whenever I can usually try to visit at least for 2-3 days.
Okay. Okay. That's good. Fine. Let us. I think it's going to start within few minutes.
Right.
Hello, Siddharth.
Good morning, Professor. How are you?
Are you fine?
I'm doing well. How are you, Professor?
Okay, so we will just wait for a few more minutes because we expect some more people to join.
Right. Sure, Professor.
So, what is the time right now at your place?
It's 9:30 p.m.
9:30 p.m.
Yes, correct.
Okay, okay.
I wanted to know where can I share the content for later. The share option is disabled for now.
Can you repeat, please?
The share option to share my screen for later when I start presentation, that button is disabled.
This is share की पूछ रहे हैं. Anukriti will tell or what? Okay, let my team help you. Anukriti, please help Siddharth.
सर ये उनको शेयर करना तो क्या
So, Siddharth, your friends have joined?
I think a few may be joining, but also 2 of my PhD advisors said they would be free and would join.
Very good, very good. I think it will be very amazing.
They'll be on YouTube though.
Okay, okay.
So I think whoever is the host has to enable that the panelist can share the screen. I cannot share the screen even now.
Anukruti, please allow him to share the screen.
Okay, now I can share, I think, whenever I want. I have the option now.
Hello, Dr. Shishu, can we start now?
Yes, sir. I am
So
ready.
I again do not have the option to share. The option went away.
Sir, Siddharth sir, you can check once whether you are able to share or not.
So now again I can share. I have the button enabled. Earlier it was disabled. Okay, right now the button is enabled. Please keep it so.
Okay. Shishu sir.
Deepthi, please check while share.
Sir, please pardon, sir.
Please check why Siddharth is not able to share his screen.
So now is
Now
Okay. And there is some probably let everybody mute so that we know why this disturbance is coming. Let us see who the mic is creating disturbance.
okay, sir.
Still there is a disturbance. Hello, Ankriti, is it from your room? There is some disturbance. You may mute all when anybody is speaking. You can mute others. All right.
Anupam sir, should we start?
Yes, I think we should start. Yes.
Okay, sir. Thank you. So, a very good morning. Welcome to the Triple ITA Elementary class. I, Deepthi Mishra, being a moderator. Welcome to Honorable Professor P. Nagabhushan, Registrar Professor Shuvan, Dean of Technology, Professor Anupam Agarwal, respected faculty members, our speaker of the day, and all dear friends. Before starting the interaction with speaker, I would like to for briefing of the details about the so I request Professor Anupam Agarwal to brief about the webinar.
Now Professor Agarwal is muted.
Sir, your mic is mute.
Oh. Good morning, everybody. Honorable Director, sir, my colleagues, our distinguished alumnus, Dr. Siddharth, and our faculty members, our students, our other members of the IIITA who have joined this event. I'm thankful to them to spare their time to join this event. I am thankful to Dr. Siddharth for finding time to give a talk on this day. Because recently Government of India has introduced a new policy called New Education Policy, and they wish that institutes like IIITA, Allahabad, and Institute of National Importance, they should play a major role for quality research and other startups and other things. So in that regard, I think association with alumni is really going to be very, very useful, because our alumni have created a they are at a very good positions, and they have acquired very high degrees from reputed universities abroad. So they can actually motivate, I personally think, to our young students who are studying at IIITA for making their career in research, or for establishing their own companies, where actually they should not be a job seeker. They should basically establish their companies and offer jobs to others. So our Honorable Prime Minister's mission, like Make in India, Skill India, and all these things, probably they are encouraging that institutes like IIITA Allahabad, they should bring actually quality education and research, and these students in further will be very actually doing high quality research, as well as establishing their own companies for offering jobs to people, all these things. So I understand, with that mind, actually we have started this series of webinar where our distinguished alumnus, they will actually give their talks, and they will try to support IIITA in different manner. We have actually created a list of almost 19-20 points where our alumni can contribute to their alma mater. And with this, actually, I hope this series first talk is by Dr. Siddharth, and it will motivate our young students at IIITA Allahabad who are studying currently, and they will they will take their career in research. They will pursue their PhDs from top Indian universities as well as abroad. And I think his talk will be very motivating to them. With this, actually, I asked Deepti to start interaction with him. Thank you very much.
So, sir, before starting interaction with him, I would like to introduce the speaker, Dr. Siddharth. Okay. So, Dr. Siddharth is a users research specialist in the Human Factors Engineering Lab at Microsoft USA. Earlier, he obtained his PhD from the University of California, San Diego in June 2020. His research focus spans artificial intelligence, computational neuroscience, and effective computing. And especially he works with multimodal biosensing and vision-based sensor modalities for detecting, classifying, and studying the relationship between the cues representing human emotions. At UC San Diego, he also served as a graduate fellow editor of the Prospect Journal of International Affairs and graduate student member of the South Asia Initiative. He is also awarded fellowships and research grants from various institutions, including National Science Foundation, Army Research Lab, Kavli Institute of Brain and Mind, and Chancellor's Research Excellence Scholarship. Previously, he has undertaken research internships at the National University of Singapore, French National Center for Scientific Research, CNRS, Samsung Research America, and Facebook Reality Labs. We welcome you, sir. Now, moving ahead. Sir, since I and even students have a lot of doubts regarding higher studies and all, I would like to request you to allow me to ask some questions which can help our student. So, sir, should I ask?
Oh, well, first, thank you to Professor Agarwal and you, and also to the Honorable Director, sir, for making this event happen. These are troubling times for everyone, and I hope everyone in the IIITA family is doing well, health-wise and in other ways. It is my honor that I have been invited today for this discussion and looking forward to it.
Thank you, sir. So, Dr. Siddharth, please tell us something about your childhood education, your hometown, how you got interested in studying at IIITA.
So I was born and raised in Meerut in Western Uttar Pradesh. Well, I did all my schooling from Meerut, and I think one of the things that stood out during my schooling was my school was at the edge of the city. So most of the students and my friends there, they belong to agriculture backgrounds. And a lot of students and my friends, they belong to very diverse backgrounds when it comes to like different castes and religions. I think this diverse makeup of having friends from different sort of cultural and educational, like cultural and family backgrounds, gave me an outlook that was, I think, pan-Indian in a sense. And well, when I was in my high school, it was my personal decision to pursue engineering as a career path. And at that time, for the last 2 years of my high school, I studied in Meerut itself for the engineering entrance exams. And well, I was, as everyone wants, I wanted to go to an IIT, but that could not be. And looking back, I don't think I would change anything. I am very proud to be a IIIT Allahabad student.
Okay. So, sir, can you share any moment, any few memorable moment during your stay at IIITA?
IIIT was full of so many memorable moments. I mean, you're seeing so many pictures here on the screen. Like, I think these friends and all, for me, they constituted the best moments that I had in IIITA. Most of the memorable moments I don't think I can share here because they happened in the boys' hostels. But even then, I think academic-wise, I was very fortunate to be advised closely by many professors. So closely, like with 2 or 3 of them, I used to have breakfast and dinner sometimes at their home, discussing their own graduate research when they were doing their PhDs. And other than that, I think once when I was in my 3rd year of study, this is in 2013, I wanted to work with EEG, which is a brain signal modality. But at that time, there was no EEG headset in IIIT Allahabad. So I think it was I was rather fortunate that I was able to persuade a professor that I really want to work on this and please spend the money. And they literally got somehow the money from somewhere. And at that time, this is in 2013, $3,000 to be spent on an undergraduate research project was a big thing, as I'm sure it is now even now in IIIT Allahabad. Other than that, I think another memorable moment happened in 7th semester when literally these friends on the screen, they dragged me for placements because I was like, I don't want to like sit in job placements. I want to do graduate research later. But they were like, no, you should create a backup. You should create a backup. And as soon as the placement started, they literally like took me from my room on, and like I was like on their shoulders, and then they took me, dragged me to sit for company's placement. It was just their love and friendship that made them do it.
Okay. So, sir, what was your research topic, PhD research topic, and why you choose the particular topic? Can you tell us?
Sure. So my PhD research topic was utilizing multimodal biosensing for effective computing in real-world scenarios. Now, let me break it down for you. So I was trying to use different types of sensors, different types of ways from which I could utilize human biosensing. For example, our brain waves or our heart waves or how our facial expressions are changing. These type of sensor modalities for research in emotion recognition in real world scenarios. To encapsulate all that I just said in one single sentence, I was trying to create sort of a Fitbit for emotions. You see, in past few years, like Fitbit, Apple Watch, all these wearables, they have transformed how we look at our physical health. They can track your physical activity throughout the day when you are doing different types of activities outside your home, or even during when you are sleeping. So I wanted to do something like this for your emotional and cognitive health. You could wear some sensors on some part of your body, and throughout the day, it could track your emotional health and your cognitive and mental states.
Okay. Sir, can you elaborate your this research finding, because your topic seems to be quite interesting.
Sure, I can share my screen. I think you will have to again provide me the capability to do so.
Yes, sure, please. We would love to see this, your presentation.
Right, the link has been disabled. Can you please again enable the link so that I can share?
Sure, sure, sir.
Cool, I just got it. Okay, I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Can you see in full screen now?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, meeting across from IIIT to Microsoft via UCSD, that's the topic of my presentation. These are the different labs and the institutes that I have been fortunate to be affiliated with in the past 8 or 9 years. Currently, I'm working as a user research specialist in Microsoft USA, though I will not be talking much about my research at Microsoft right now. So I would like to dedicate this presentation to my seniors and faculty members at IIIT Allahabad. Right from when I reached IIIT, even from the first year until the time I graduated and even beyond, seniors have been of a lot of help for me at different times and different points. I don't think I would have reached where I am today without the help of seniors, both from BTech and from MTech. Not just those who I encountered like when I was in IIIT Allahabad, but even those seniors who had already passed out earlier, they welcomed me as one of their own wherever I met them in any part of the world. And of course, IIIT, the logo itself says knowledge is Brahm, Prajnanam Brahm. And being a believer in Advait philosophy, I really admire this. Finally, of course, nothing would have happened without our wonderful faculty members at IIIT Allahabad. So this presentation is for all of you. To structure this presentation, I thought, let me take a different approach. So in journalism, there's a concept of 5 Ws and 1 H. When a journalist comes back to the editor usually asks the journalist these 6 questions to know what was the story or the bit that the journalist was covering. So like the editor may ask, so who did you cover, where did you cover it, when did that event happen, why did it happen, and all those things. Taking a cue from journalism, I have structured this presentation in this same format, 5 Ws and 1 H. So the first 2 questions are really easy to answer. We are talking about my research, and we are talking about my time at IIIT Allahabad and UC San Diego. The other 4 questions I will be presenting here. So when did I decide to pursue graduate studies? Why did I choose the research path? What was the timeline of events at IIIT Allahabad? And finally, how did UC San Diego support my endeavors? So using the 6 questions, we can get a complete idea of my research path, both at my undergrad as well as grad school. Let's focus on them one by one. So when did I decide to pursue graduate studies? I think the answer for me, like a short one, is even before I entered IIIT Allahabad. I wanted to become a part of the leading academic institutions in the world and excel in a particular field. This I had decided even before I entered IIIT Allahabad. So it may seem like amusing or fanciful, but yes, I did think even before I started my undergrad that I would actually pursue higher studies after my undergrad. So even from my first year at IIIT Allahabad, I was already trying to contact different seniors who were already either pursuing or in the process to apply for grad school. Again, as I said, first I was not able to get to an IIT, but that was all right. I was able to get to IIIT, which is a premier research institution in India. So I was already wondering in the back of my mind, what next, where next? Why did I choose the research path? So semester 1 in IIIT Allahabad, the course was Introduction to Programming in C by Professor B.S. Sanjeev. Anyone who has taken a course with Professor B.S. Sanjeev, I think, can attest to the fact that it's a course from which you will learn a lot, but it is not an easy course. Professor B.S. Sanjeev is, I think, it's very good that he's a strict disciplinarian and he gives you like a very bitter pill to swallow in semester 1. But at that time, when I was in the first semester, I quickly developed sort of a love-hate relationship with this course because programming was hard and I had no prior exposure to programming. Why, where is the novelty? I could not know. I had no idea why we are doing programming in first semester. I was like, I'm not here to develop or redevelop calculators or databases or web pages. I had no idea how could I utilize programming for something like tangible, something like I could really feel in my hand. But this course actually trained me to think logically about systems, about both theoretical and real world type of systems, and about solving problems. So by the end of the course, at the very least, I had a vague idea that programming is crucial for most applications, EC or any related research area. But I used to wonder even then that why to use programming? Why can I use programming? How can I use programming for solving some real world tangible problems? I wanted to find the answer for myself, and the quest to find the answer for this question, even in the first semester, I think, led me towards undertaking research. So what was the timeline of events at IIIT Allahabad when it comes to research? In the first semester, as I said, I was just learning the basics of different types of like electronics, digital theory, and programming. And as new to college people, new to college students do, I was just exploring Allahabad and first time using Linux and small things like blogging and designing logos and all. But again, as I said, I wanted to know how could I use something tangible, something I really wanted to touch or feel. So here's Pranav Mistry. I saw his TED video at that time in the first semester, and I was inspired by, okay, we can do maybe some sort of this real world applications by putting a camera on you. But then what happened in November 2011, the movie Rockstar was released, and friends and I watched it before we left the campus at the end of the first semester. Now, Rockstar, it's not like one of my favorite movies or anything, not like a great movie or anything. But when you're a student, you are in first year, and you see a movie like that, what happens is 4 new guitars were purchased just in our hostel wing when we returned back to the campus. You know, just some more first year stuff. So we have this new guitars in our group, and we were like, oh, now we have to learn how to play a guitar. So we went to MTech students. They were in the same hostel wing, and we were like, hey, sir, can you please teach us how to play guitar? And one of them actually, he was a part of the robotics lab, and he used to work with computer vision. And just by discussing different things, it came up that I was like, hey, sir, I really don't know any real world application of programming. And he showed me examples like these, and he actually introduced me to computer vision, and it seriously blew away my mind. I was like, oh, here's something tangible, something I could control by programming and see the effects in real time just by using a laptop's camera. I don't need anything else. So, I mean, seriously, at that point, this was something totally new for me, out of the world. And I was like, wow, now I can actually use programming to tangibly find something changing in front of my eyes, just on my laptop. And reading more and more about this computer vision, I started fusing computer vision with the electronics that I was learning during my formal courses there. And using like computer vision with embedded system, I was trying to make these small motors and driving these small robots and all based on the input from the camera. So that's how my second semester went. But by the third semester, I wanted to do something novel. And so I worked in the robotics lab there. So this was a small application in which you could play rock, paper, scissors using a camera with a virtual robo. Getting more interested like this slowly and slowly with computer vision and also machine learning, I did another project in which I was detecting a separating, overlapping or touching chromosomes. So on the lower right of the image, you can see 2 chromosomes are overlapping in sort of an X manner. So how to automatically separate such chromosomes so that the total number of chromosomes is evaluated correctly. These small projects, I think, motivated me a lot towards diving deeper into computer vision. And I was fortunate to spend the summer 2013 at the National University of Singapore, where I worked on how to use a normal smartphone's camera, just like in this image, to track your eye and your eye gaze and like superimpose your eye gaze over different parts of the smartphone's screen. Now, coming back to campus, I was like, okay, computer vision is good, but let me try to also explore some more human-computer interaction tools. So these were kind of like starting a science project, and developed a flex sensor-based glove, here shown in the left image, so you can bend your fingers and control different things in the real world, like small sort of robots, or control a virtual avatar. Luckily, as I said earlier, a few minutes back, I was able to persuade the institute to buy me EEG headset to record brain waves. Somehow I got very interested in EEG when I was in Singapore, though at that time I could really not put my hands on one. And as soon as the EEG headset came, it's shown on the right image here. I worked on this project so that I could utilize EEG brainwaves to enable an amputee control an artificial limb. So here's, we actually contacted different social organizations in Islamabad and got amputees to come to us, and we equipped them with this EEG headset and made like that sort of shown in the left, sort of like a 3D printed arm here. And they could control this 3D printed arm through changing their brain states like relaxed or intense, and different fingers of that 3D printed arm used to move. So that was the end of third year. Again, I wanted to work with more with the EEG, and fortunately, again, I was able to get another internship in Montpellier in France, and there I was controlling a HRP4 humanoid robot shown in the left image there, using again EEG headset inside virtual reality so that you could navigate the robo in a real world environment, and you could have the robo like do different tasks, for example, pick up and place somewhere else these soda cans. Semester just went into applying for grad school. For the past 2-3 years, I was continuously doing research. So this semester, I was just focusing on like GRE, TOEFL, and recommendation letters, submitting the research papers of the research that I had done until now. And then the final semester I spent in the United States in California, working at Samsung Research America in the think tank team. And here I diversified myself from the EEG, from the only the brain signal part of things to a more biosensing perspective. So I was like, okay, you could also use your heart rate variability, how your heart activity is changing, or how much sweat you are secreting over your body. This type of biosensing measures may also be very useful, especially for applications in emotion recognition. And this lab was actually headed by Pranav Mistry at that point. So my undergrad had come a full circle from first year to the last semester of my undergrad studies. So how did UC San Diego support my endeavors when I reached America? The first thing is, before reaching UC San Diego, I had some sort of experience of working with computer vision, multimodal biosensing, machine learning, and cognitive science. But these are very diverse research fields, right? They are not traditionally under one department in a university. So here was I in electrical and computer engineering department, but UCSD encourages collaborations that are across departments. So my research advisors, Professor Ziping Jung, Terry Sinowski, and Mohan Trivedi, they all belong to actually different departments. And I was very fortunate to work with all three of them. All three of them are great researchers and wonderful human beings. And I think Professor Ziping Jung and Professor Mohan Trivedi are right now watching this as we speak via YouTube. So how to utilize biosensing for emotion recognition. Imagine if you are just reached back home and you are tired, you are totally exhausted after a hard day at work. And here's some intelligent assistant, perhaps somewhere on your body because you're wearing some sensors or somewhere in the room, and it detects, oh, I think you are upset. And it plays your favorite song and turns on the television, and your mood completely transforms. Sorry. And your mood completely transforms. So that's kind of an application that I was aiming for when I started my PhD. Why exactly biosensing? Why not use computer vision for this? Because computer vision can also be used for knowing your facial expressions and emotions. And I had already been using computer vision since my undergrad. This is because it's impossible to use computer vision in all different contexts because of different illumination changes, or impractical to have a camera in front of your face all the time. And also using cameras raises issues concerning privacy. So biosensing will provide the solution because you can wear something on your wrist or something behind your ear. So it's non-intrusive. It does not depend on external factors like illumination, occlusion, and it's capable of highly individualized analysis. That's why I thought a biosensing-based approach would be good for emotion recognition. What should be the goals of such a biosensing system? So there should be 5. First is it should be able to detect and monitor emotional states. Infer emotional states using minimal number and most comfortable sensors. You don't want to do these kind of experiments only in labs. You have to do it in real world. So minimum number and most comfortable sensors is a prerequisite. Infer the context in real world scenarios. Again, you want to do all this emotional recognition studies and all in real world. And then after you are done recognizing the emotion, you should be able to make recommendations or take action based on the information from above. That is, what is the user's emotional state? What should I do with it? And finally, do all the above continuously throughout the day. So these are the 5 ideal goals of a biosensing system. During my PhD research, I focused only on the first 3 of them. So from here starts my PhD research. There is a lot that I could not put in this presentation because of lack of time. So you can send me your questions later. And I would also say focus on the images. Don't focus a lot on the text, because again, we don't have a lot of time right here for this presentation. So I'll go through the images, and I hope you'll get a good idea of my graduate research from there. So biosensing systems, let me give you a brief history. About 10 years ago, they used to be bulky and used to have a single modality. So used to either have an EEG headset or a cardiac activity ECG system. And they used to be bulky. So most of them used to be used only for medical applications in hospitals. About 5 years ago or so, they started becoming compact. So now you could use them for real world applications, but they were all single modality. You could not have many different modalities working together. It is only now that multimodal systems are coming. So now one simple headset, for example, you're wearing a virtual reality headset, you can put a EEG sensor in it. You can also put eye tracking sensor in it. You can put for a PPG sensor in it to measure your heart rate activity. All these sensors now only you can put in a single headset, so compact multimodal systems. But there are some challenges. For example, even the ones that are compact multimodal systems now in the market, they do not provide research-grade biosignals. They cannot be customized as per different needs for different experiments, and data synchronization between the different sensors is still cumbersome. So we developed our own multimodal biosensing system. This is the architecture of the system. So you have 2 cameras here for eye tracking, one to see the worldview of the user, another to track the eye of the user to know where exactly the person is looking at. You have PPG module. So PPG is actually a photoplethysmogram. This is like in Fitbit or Apple Watch. It sends light through your skin, and based on how far the light is penetrating your skin, it measures the blood in that area, which in written can give you a measure of your heart rate and heart rate variability as your heart is pumping blood. Then we also had the 16-channel EEG headset in this same system, and the whole system was actually able to either save the data on itself or send it in real time or to a computer for processing. This is actually how the system looked right here on the right. So you have a world camera, you have these EEG electrodes, you have a battery, a reference EEG electrode, PPG sensor for heart rate variability was used behind the earlobe. And then this camera here, the eye camera, it tracks your eye and your eye movements. This is a very miniature system. As you can see, it's only about 76 by 41 millimeters. So you can very easily fit it on the side of your head. There are many contributions, again, to go through them very fast. This is a very novel miniature sensor, both for PPG and for EEG. They are very cost effective. This on the left image shows the data stream that comes out of the sensor. So as you can see, you can track whatever is in front of the person. And you can also, using deep learning, find out if you are looking at a person or a chair or a table or what. If you are looking at a person, you can also, again, use deep learning to track the pose of the person that is in front of you. You can also track here by the pink dot the gaze where the person is looking at. Here, you are tracking the center of the eye so that you can superimpose the gaze of the person. This is the raw PPG data from the heart, and using accelerometer, you can remove noise from it, and you can calculate heart rate as here written. And then you have the EEG headset, which can give you different power in the different EEG bands, which are again a measure of your cognitive sort of load at any particular time. So we actually evaluated these different sensors separately and also together. Again, not going into the details, I'll just present one type of evaluation that we did for the whole system. So there is a game called Where is Waldo, in which you have all these different elements in a puzzle, and you have to find this character on the left named Waldo in this cluttered scene. And for example, in this image, he was right there. So we kept the we equipped some people with our headset and we asked them, hey, can you find Waldo? So it's a very real world task. And what we tried using eye tracking was how fast they are able to find Waldo. We are able to track it. And we are also able to track how they are moving their eyes when they are trying to find Waldo. And the final thing that we got out of this study was, if you are trying to find Waldo on an average, you will do better if you are trying to find it in a particular pattern, rather than if you are just trying to look randomly across the whole screen. So next time you are playing the game, you should be able to find Waldo on an average much faster if you are trying to find it in a pattern, like going from one part of the page to the next in a very sequential manner. We also used EEG here. Basically the graph on the left, the blue line and the red line, this shows that we are able to track a difference between when you have actually found Waldo versus when you have found a false fixation. You are fixating on something else, but you think is Waldo. So we are very easily able to distinguish using EEG, only using your brain waves, if you have found Waldo or you have found something else, but you think it's Waldo. So wanted to know, then I wanted to have some real world applications of this headset which are related to affective computing or emotions. So I worked on two applications. One is consuming multimedia content and the second is monitoring driver awareness. Let's go through them one by one. So this is emotion circumplex model proposed by Russell in 1978. Basically, you have two axes. The x-axis is the valence, the y-axis is the arousal. So either you can have positive valence or negative valence. You can have low arousal or high arousal. Valence, just think it kind of as like mood. So if you have positive valence and you are highly aroused, that means you are excited, versus when you have positive valence but you are not aroused at all, you are calm. And using this circumplex model, you can map all different human emotions on this 2D scale. So what we did was we collected many data sets like this, but we also used some publicly available data set, like one of them is shown here, in which you have a person, as in the image here, sitting, and you have the person equipped with many different sensors, such as face camera, EEG, ECG, GSR, all these different types of body sensors. And the person is watching different types of emotional clips. This is an example emotional clip that the person may be watching. I am unable to play it somehow. Okay, so basically you are watching different movie clips, and while watching different movie clips, we are recording your data across all these different axes. And after recording your data, when you are watching such emotional clips, what we are doing is we can analyze each and every sensor separately. So we can extract different types of features from your EEG from the brain. And these different features we can then map onto your valence and arousal, which, as I said, are a measure of your emotion. We can do this to many different ways, for example, using time series based methods or using a deep learning based method, as I shown here, after converting the one-dimensional time series of EEG to two-dimensional images. You can also use heart signals again, like heart rate variability, to again extract features, because as you are watching different emotional content, your heart rate variability might be changing as the content is changing. Similarly, GSR, which is the full form, is the Galvanic skin response. So as you are more aroused, your skin actually secretes sweat, and you can actually detect it because the conductance of your skin changes. And then you can extract features over this sensor, because again, as you said, when you're aroused, your conductance will change, so you can map it to the different video clips that you are watching. But again, another thing on top of all this is you can track your facial expressions. Now, for tracking facial expressions, as shown in this image of President Obama, you can track the different points on the human face, like the facial landmarks here shown in green. And then you can compute different features over these facial landmarks shown in the images below here, based on the distance and angles between all these different facial landmarks. And these features then you can use to train an algorithm for mapping it to your emotions. Basically, what we are trying to do here is we are trying to map how you are reacting to a video, how your facial expressions are changing when you are watching a video content. Not only this, not only from the subject, we also extracted features from the videos that we were showing to the subject. So here like are 3 example videos that we shown to the subject. The first one, as you can see, it has 4 different types of like, because these kind of things like how much is a short duration if you are having a very long shot like this one in a weather video, in a news weather telecast video, this might be more boring because you just have one shot, but more informative. Whereas if you want to create more action, you might have the number of shots might be more in the same amount of time. These kind of things are actually used by directors and producers when they make movies to put different types of like emotions and excitement, elicit them in humans. Then you can also extract other type of features based on audio, like voice probability. Is there someone singing in the voice in the video clip, or is there someone talking? You can also extract things like proportion of saturation, lighting key. For example, in the middle one here, it's a horror movie, so it's very highly saturated. These type of features tell you what is the kind of content that you are watching. Then we did a canonical correlation analysis between all these different types of features from the human being as well as from the stimulus video itself. And after doing this, what the outcome was, we were able to know what type of video features are most contributing towards the change in your brain state. And this helps because now you know that, for example, this texture, the homogeneity and the contrast of texture, these are the best features contributing toward change in your brain state. So when you are producing a movie or when you are directing a movie, you can take this into account for eliciting different types of emotional sort of response in the person, because you know that what type of feature in the movie will elicit what type of response in which of these EEG bands. Each of these EEG bands actually correspond to a different types of emotional or cognitive or mental state. We did the same also for facial expressions. So again, you can now know that what type of content as you are watching on YouTube or something, what type of content is eliciting what type of facial expression response. And again, on the like making this argument from the reverse side, what type of facial expression changes are correlated with what type of changes in the video. So how do you move your lips? How do you move your eyes when you're watching different types of content? And then we also extracted salient brain regions corresponding to different types of emotions. So again, low valence, low arousal, high valence and high arousal, and then the subtraction of these. What we can see here is valence or mood is more concentrated in this region of the brain when from an EEG perspective, whereas arousal is more distributed across the whole brain. And as I said, valence and arousal, they together constitute your emotions. So you can know which parts of the brain from an EEG perspective are more representative of your emotions. On top of all this, we also use machine learning to do feature classification, so that for these different types of data sets and for these different type of modalities, we can see how accurately can you predict from a particular modality that your algorithm is doing better. So we were actually able to beat the previous best results by different researchers in all the categories. And using this analysis, we know that EEG and facial expressions are the best in sort of knowing your emotions. So when you are designing an experiment like this, or if you are making a real world product, you now know that you should focus more on EEG, that is the brain waves, and the facial expressions if you are trying to recognize somebody's emotions. The contributions were many. To summarize here succinctly, the analysis that we did was the most like comprehensive one. We used data from more than 122 subjects, more than 2,800 trials total. The features were extracted intuitively, but also in a black box manner by using deep learning. And these features proved to perform well across all data sets, even using transfer learning when you are trying to transfer your knowledge from one data set to another. So this means the features that we extracted were very robust and scalable. The second real-world application that we focused on was monitoring driver awareness. Again, I'll go through this quickly. So what we did was we equipped a person, as shown here, with these different sensors on the body. A is the EEG headset, B is a galvanic skin response GSR and a PPG band. Again, this measures your heart rate activity as well as your skin conductance. C is a normal webcam to track your facial expressions, and the person is watching different types of like driving stimulus on the screen D here. So driver awareness has a direct correlation with how attentive the driver is. We wanted to know how attentive the driver is using all these different sensors. So what we did was various image instances we collected from many different data sets that we collected ourselves in San Diego, but also collected in Germany. These have, as you can see in the images here, very different types of settings. So it might be like dark because you are under a bridge, or there may be pedestrians crossing, or it may be sort of dark because there are like all the shadows coming from the trees. There may be streets or maybe freeways. All these different images we show to the user. But in addition to this, we also did analysis on hazardous events classification. So we defined some events as hazardous and some as non-hazardous. Only 2-second videos we showed to the subject like this. Some hazardous events are, for example, you are driving and suddenly there's a pedestrian who is crossing the road. Or again, you are driving and there's a train that might be coming from the other side, as in Europe, like a tram might be coming. Or if you're on a freeway and someone is suddenly overtaking you. Non-hazardous events might be you are on a red light and suddenly the light turned green, so you have to go now, or there's like a stop sign or a be careful caution sign on the road. And we were trying to classify between these events. So we did classification, and again, we were able to classify these using different features as I shown before, using EEG and facial expressions with almost 95% accuracy for hazardous events classification, and same for attention classification. What this would allow is if you can put these sensors in cars, like you can put cameras in front of the driver, and you can put these small sensors on the driver's body, you could know how much aware the driver is, how much attentive the driver is, and this will surely help in decreasing the number of incidents of like unsafe driving. Contributions, it was evaluated which type of modalities are the best, because you have this like 10-15 different modalities to choose from, but we only wanted to use those modalities which are practical, which you can work in, like which you can work with in real time and in a real world driving setting. The efficacy of fusion of features was noted for these different types of analysis, attention-based and hazard-based. These insights will enable the design of safer automobiles and also integrate with the software, with the biosensing variables such as Fitbit, Apple Watch, etc. Because by integrating it into these variables that you are actually wearing, you can collect a lot more data on many people across the world. As I said, I only focused on these first 3 points, goals of such a biosensing system. Some of the work that I am doing at Microsoft now actually focuses on the last 2 points. So how can you utilize the information about the person's emotion? What recommendations or action should you take? And again, how to do all of this throughout, continuously throughout the day. Conclusion to all my PhD research. Well, effective computing encompasses the development of systems that can work in a multitude of challenging conditions, but it's very subjective. Everybody's emotion is subjective. You might like some horror video, I might not like that horror video. So there's a problem of scaling and robustness, which we think we were able to solve by the different types of features that we extracted. Multimodal biosensing, again, these type of systems are our best bet, because just by using one single sense modality, like just by using a camera or just by tracking your brain waves, it is not possible to get as good accuracy as you can get by using multimodal biosensing systems. So you have to bring multimodality there. However, it is never possible to include all of the biosensing systems. So again, my studies show which type of systems are great for what type of application, how should you combine different multimodal biosensing systems. And the last point, again, the hardware and software frameworks that we developed in my PhD, these are modular, these are scalable, these are robust, and they can be easily expandable to other effective computing applications. These are some journal and conferences publications that came out of my grad school. I would like to acknowledge the support of different teams, both in UCSD and the 2 internships that I did in Facebook Reality Labs here. I would like to also be thankful again to all my PhD advisors and my doctoral committee members, to all my collaborators. And on the bottom here, you can see all these different institutions that supported me through their generous funding. So my life came a full circle as I graduated from PhD. As I said, knowledge is Brahm. I really like Prajnana Brahm, the motto of IIIT Allahabad. This was the cover page of my PhD thesis with the title and my doctoral committee members. The epigraph of my PhD thesis, I actually again wrote Prajnana Brahm there, which is a statement from Rig Veda, one of the 4 Mahavakyas of Advaita Hinduism. And this is actually, I did this as sort of being thankful to IIIT Allahabad. You can send me your questions now, or you can also reach out to me later via any of these platforms. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We will have the questions later on, but I would say your presentation was quite interesting, and even I would like to suggest the young generation to carry out the higher studies in this area. So we have a lot of questions. So apart from this technicality about biosensing, sir, I want to ask you, what do you think, what are the major differences between an Indian premier academic institution like IIITA and an American one like UCSD when it comes to the research environment and infrastructure?
Good question. I think the first difference that you notice is funding. You have a lot more funds available for doing research in America, especially in the top tier universities. Because of funding, I think you can get many things done faster, and you can afford to think big, take risks. There are a lot more collaborations between industry and academia, and that I contributes toward the factor of increased funding in America. The second, I think, is infrastructure. Because you are sitting in the United States, you have the capability of doing like most things in a matter of days or weeks that might take months in India. For example, if you are fabricating a printed circuit board, or you are sending an IC for fabrication, in India it might take weeks before it gets back to you, and then you have to refine it and send it again and all those things. Whereas here, you might be able to do it yourself because the university might have resources, or it may save time because you may be able to do it in a matter of a few days. So I think research infrastructure, again, because of close collaboration between government, universities, and industries present. And then the third is, I think, the diversity that you find in America. Like even in my lab, as was there in the picture, there were students from like Japan, China, Korea, Portugal, France, Germany, Poland. And so when you meet people from all across the world, you get to learn a lot, you get to appreciate different cultures. And that is something I think which also makes higher studies in America a very appealing option.
Okay. Sir, especially why did you choose to pursue higher study in US rather than Canada, Singapore, or any other country in Europe?
So again, I would say these 3 factors: America, the United States is the biggest economy in the world still by far. And that again means that the research institutions here are very robust. They have a long track record of doing world-class research. See any rankings, you will find American institutions, American universities at the top more than of any other nation. So again, I think those 3 factors are there: research, funding, and infrastructure, which makes America a preferred destination. Another is the culture, which I think comes with the research tradition, like how the tradition has evolved over the past century or so. For example, in Europe specifically, you can get your PhD in 3 years because your funding is tied to a particular project, usually from the European Union. But here, after 3 years of study, you actually propose to your advisor, hey, I will work on this during my PhD. I will do my thesis on this. So I think that makes a lot of difference because I personally know many researchers who did their PhD in different parts of the world, but then they came to United States for postdoctoral research, so that they could get like more exposure to like, I would just say more high quality researcher.
Okay.
Good. So this is especially true for engineering. Let me make this qualification. This is especially true for engineering, which needs a lot of resources. If you are working in fields like science or law, you may be better off working with some professor that you want to work with in Europe or any other part of the world. But in research, I think it's better to have a good collaboration between universities and academia, as American universities generally do.
Okay, so I would suggest the students to write these key points which sir has told. So, sir, what are your unique experiences during your PhD research at UC San Diego?
Well, as I said, first one was how collaboration is encouraged in UC San Diego. Right from the first day, we had been told that we had been encouraged to establish collaborations across departments. One thing that I used to often say in UCSD to my advisor was, in UCSD, you are only one email away from a possible collaboration. And I think that in UCSD actually is great that you can establish all these different collaborations across departments and professors who are not in your field, and do really do research in areas that you could not do in just your home department. Another one, I would say personally for me, my research advisors, all three of them were like great human beings, and it goes without saying that they are the best researchers in their field, or among the best researchers in their field. So I think I enjoyed very warm relationships with all of them. Another thing which is, I think, particular to UC San Diego, actually two things. So one is UC San Diego has a very good collaboration with industry. So Qualcomm is literally next to our campus, and many different companies, the professors get a lot of their funding from different companies. So you can actually very easily do internships in those companies like I did in Facebook twice. Last thing, from a UC San Diego perspective, the university is right on the beach. And so you can literally, from one of my labs, I could actually see the beach and the ocean every day outside my window. And you can do all these connectivities in the ocean. Again, because it is San Diego, it's also called San Diego, because unlike other parts of North America, you get a lot more days of sunshine, and the weather is beautiful throughout the year.
Okay. So going more deep, sir, how did you fund your studies at UCSD? Means, is it easy for an average IIT student to pursue higher studies in the US when it comes to securing funds, or is education there unaffordable for most Indian students?
So I come from a middle class family background, as I'm sure most of present IIT students also do. I had to actually take a loan even for my undergrad. Even for coming to IIT Allahabad, I had an education loan over me, which I was fortunate enough to return when I did that internship in Samsung Research in the 8th semester. By the way, all the internships that I did, all three of them, Singapore, France, and America, I could only do them because they were funded by the institutes that I was visiting, else I could not have done those. So I think it is possible to come to America and do good research for most students, middle class backgrounds in India, because you can get loans, you can avail loans from the bank, and then after coming here, just working for a few months, you can get research assistantships or teaching assistantships. You can fund your own academic work or your research here by applying for different grants. So that's what I did. It is possible. It might be a little harder when you are applying for all those loans and all in India, but that's what I think most students do. If it would not have been possible for me to come here right after IIT Allahabad, I would have probably worked in India for 2-3 years to save some money, or might have done my master's in India, because the PhD is usually funded in America in most top tier universities.
Okay. So would you like to share any memorable, notorious activity that happened during your studies at IIIT?
I see you will not release me before I tell you some fun facts. Well, first of all, most of them I cannot tell. Second, I cannot take any names for obvious reasons. But I mean, there are so many. Like when I was in first year, I was new. There were like we were a few friends. We ordered pizza one day, and there were many more packets of seasoning that came. And so we were like, hey, we don't need this. What should we do? So I had an idea. We went to the mess when nobody was looking, dumped them all in the dal, the lentils there, and like needless to say, it was a fun evening in the mess with all the students like arguing with the workers there that why is food like this today. And there are so many, I mean, instances. One was I was working on a side project with a professor, and that was on plagiarism detection. So we had to download different papers, and I wrote a script so that we could download papers on a particular topic from the IEEE website. And I think about 2 days later, the IEEE flagged our institute as a spam because there were so many connections that my script was making while downloading papers. And for 1 or 2 weeks, there was no access to IEEE by because of me for the whole institute. I'm sorry for that, but only me and the professor knew it at that point. Another memorable event that happened at the time, and it has stayed with me, was in early 2014, I think. That was the time when, for the first time, elections were held to the college gymkhana. And that was a newly constituted gymkhana, and elections were held for the first time in the institute. So nobody had any idea or experience how this would go. I was very busy at that time doing my research and applying for grad school and things. So I wanted my roommate to stand up as a candidate because then he would be from our group, right? And he was a dear friend, but he was only half sure of standing up for the election. So what happened was during the last day of filing the nomination, he went to his home, and I actually filed the nomination on his name without him agreeing that he has agreed to be a candidate. Then before he came back from his home, I wrote the whole manifesto of 15 points that if he gets elected, we will do this in the college, we will do that in the college. After he came back, then hey, this happened, so now you have to stand up for the election. Then it was great. The first 2-3 weeks were very memorable, going from door to door in the hostel to procure votes, ask people to vote for us, advertise our manifesto, and then on the voting day, pursuing everyone in the hostel, you have to go and vote, have to go and vote. We knew we would win, but in the end, because we kept on doing it like in a sustained manner for 2-3 weeks, we won. I think he won by more than twice the number of votes polled by his closest rival. So that was another, I think, very memorable, notorious moment I would consider, which is very close to my heart now.
Okay, so now you know the culture here. Would you like to advise or suggest something to the students in this current scenario when the whole education system is running online? Means what should they do? How should they plan their studies and all?
Well, firstly, they have my sympathy because they are not on the campus. I think more than academia, in some sense, the campus life shapes you. And because they're not on the campus, they are unfortunately missing a lot. So I would just hope that this COVID is soon behind us and they are able to return back to the campus. Having said that, I think there are some new opportunities that COVID has given us. One is this type of webinar was probably not have thought of in earlier times. We are collaborating much more over large distances. We are collaborating with many more people now. The commuting time has gone to zero. So I think because many American universities have now made their courses open for everyone, students in IIIT can now literally take a course from Stanford, MIT, UCSD, anywhere, and also take all the quizzes and do the assignments and everything if they want. The distance between Allahabad and Bangalore has reduced to zero now. So if you're doing internship in Bangalore, you don't need to come back for presenting any of your work for any midterm projects or anything. You can do it from now. I'm sure the faculty would be very accommodative now. Similarly, you can I think even after COVID, half of the conference travel is not coming back. So now IIIT can actually ask many different distinguished faculty members across the world to attend their conferences and attend different seminars and things, which they earlier might have asked that, okay, can you pay us for travel? We want to come. But now I think in this change scenario, they would be more receptive to such ideas.
Okay. So, sir, how would you like to associate yourself with your alma mater, that is IIIT, in future?
I think particularly for myself, I would like to suggest something out of all the points that were there on the website, because I think right now I'm at an intersection of like industry and academia both. So I could actually probably take a seminar course or a full course at IIIT Allahabad remotely again. Because of COVID-19, this is not a fanciful idea anymore. And I can teach a course or a seminar with a more hands-on approach to students towards engineering. It may be a course on computer vision or deep learning or something, or it may be a course on basic engineering tools, which I don't think even now IIIT teaches you in like a formal sense, such as bias in data or analytical data versus anecdotal data or absolutes versus percentages. These small things actually are very useful, not just in research, but also to do anything related to engineering. So I would be very open to anything like that if something comes up. But again, another thing I can do if something like this materializes is I have many connections in industry and academia in the United States, so I can ask like some of the distinguished researchers here to give talks at IIIT remotely once in 2-3 months or so, which I'm sure would be very motivating for the students.
Yeah, that will be very great. Yeah.
Okay. So, sir, we are very much curious about what is your next goal, which you would like to achieve in the future.
Well, for now, it is hopefully just waiting for the COVID-19 to be behind us. I'm working in Microsoft in a more product-oriented manner now than I was working during my grad school. So right now, it is to get a product out there in the coming 1 year, 2 years or so. In the long term, I am very open to move back to India and work there should a good opportunity come in my lap. So just looking out for those.
Okay. So now I would like to open the discussion for the audience. Students can write their questions in the chat box. We have the YouTube links also. So if anyone of in the audience is having any question, you can write there so that I can ask the question from sir. So questions are welcome.
Dr. Siddharth, it was a very, very good presentation. You know, it was really nice. It was really touching. You really very honestly spoke the difference between the education in India and education in USA. Now you are with Microsoft. Would Microsoft allow you to be in touch with academia also with your San Diego?
Well, I think I will have to talk to my manager about this, but hopefully something can be worked out because some of our researchers here, they do give seminar presentations in American universities from time to time.
Okay, and you can formally offer a course also at San Diego. I mean, or in near Seattle only, any university near Seattle.
Right. I think I can do it. Just have to get approval from your manager and those things, but should be possible. I mean, if some opportunity comes up, I can book my manager for that. We'll see.
Yes. So you would like to continue the rest of your life in USA itself. I do understand that, and everybody would get attracted because of the diversity, because of the...
In the long term, I would want to move back to India. I want to move back to India and work in India. I'm just waiting for like an opportune movement and a good opportunity that would attract me.
So, sir, in the picture flashing back, can you introduce who is there in the picture? We can show that. in this. Are you able to see that?
I am able to see that. So in the center, can you, I don't think you can see my mouse, right? So in the center, absolute center, with the purple shirt and gray jacket and waving hand, this is Professor Ziping Jung, who was one of my research advisors. So this is one of my labs. The lab is called SWAT Center for Computational Neuroscience. It's one of the like best labs in the world if you want to do any research related to EEG or computational neuroscience. Another professor at the back who is waving both his hands in the air is Professor Scott McKeague. He's Professor Scott McKeague, and rest all of them are either students or postdoctoral scholars. And this is actually an image from one of our lab anniversaries, which is held on January 9 every year. So on the right side, you can also see family members of some of the scholars.
Mm. Mm.
This, as we all know, is Professor Roger Penrose. He needs no introduction. He received the 2020 Physics Nobel Prize. I was fortunate enough to meet him twice when he was visiting my lab in UCSD, and also got his autograph on like an image of IIIT Allahabad, because the architecture of IIIT Allahabad is based on Penrose geometry, which was given by him in 1970s.
Good.
Sir, what is the scope of this postdoc in UCSD?
So you can apply to different professors. A lot depends on if the professor has funds at the time or not. If the professor has funds, he or she may send you an invite for a postdoc. Initially, your funding may be secured by the funds the professor has, but slowly I think most professors would want you to keep on writing different grants so that later you can secure your own funding. Like for my PhD also, when as soon as I reached UCSD, I started working, I started doing research, but I could only secure funds for myself after 6 months. And from then on, I got funding throughout my PhD for like more than 4.5 years. And you have to keep on writing grants and you have to keep on applying. So that's the same for, I think, PhD and postdocs, just that postdocs have, I think, a little more pressure to bring funds.
Okay. So now I would like to request our Honorable Director, Sir, Professor P. Nagabhushan, to kindly summarize the session or any point which I missed, please.
There is one more question. You could have asked that question. Computer vision, computer vision as carried out in industry versus computer vision as taught in a classroom.
Computer vision in classroom versus industry. I think industry is, of course, product focused. Classroom, you have to learn a lot. I did learn a lot of it myself during first and second year before I formally learned about it in, I think, some elective course in 6th semester. I think both of them are great in their own places, but in UCSD, digital image processing is a course which is taught by Professor Mohan Trivedi. And a lot of the course, like a big chunk of it, actually gives you assignments which have hands-on problems. So you are learning about computer vision, but at the same time, you have to work on assignments to have like practical familiarity with the course. In industry, you are just focused firstly on getting things working. And then if it works, how to best optimize it so you can implement it in the products that are already existing without the need to put all these different computing capabilities like GPUs and all these days. Or if you want to put these capabilities, how to scale it further so that you can do it for many more users. So I think the problems that you are attacking are a little different, because academia, you are only attacking the computer vision on the implementation, computer vision kind of side of things. Whereas in industry, you also have to focus on these different hardware challenges that may arise when you want to scale your application.
Dr. Siddharth, I would appreciate if you could a little elaborate more on this particular point which you were just mentioning. That Dr. Trivedi, when he used to teach computer vision, he would also expect you to do a lot of assignments which were more, hands-on. Okay.
Right.
I mean, it is generally true with any American university. That is the difference. The type of assignments, the real learning happens through the sequence of assignments, and they frame the assignments from very minimal end to a very maximal end by the end of the semester. Oh, it's all very interesting. And absolutely, you know that the type of number of theory classes or number of classroom classes, lecture classes are drastically reduced, and one lecture class would definitely imply would mean a lot of assignments for the students. I think this is what now IIIT Allahabad is also very willingly, and our faculty have willingly been accepting that in a credit, the lecture classes should be as much possible reduced, and more it should go towards practice, more towards hands-on, and that's where not only real learning, it also inculcates, and really experiencing the learning would happen. And basically, finally, when you present your work, whatever you have done with your hands-on, that gives a better perfection. I would like you to speak a little more elaborately, because
I totally agree with you.
You might have also seen in IIIT Allahabad in your good old days. Naturally, the theory classes used to be more in number, and in fact, most of the time it used to be classroom. But then, your attention, your personal interest on doing the things personally, your enthusiasm to make use of the summer semester, etc., would give a lot of opportunity for you for hands-on. So if that tendency could be changed in India also, there could be a lot of interesting things to come out. I wish you should be able to speak because you've seen both the worlds.
I think you are absolutely true. You are absolutely right in the sense that hands-on research, when you are doing some hands-on practical applications of the computer vision or any such course, when you are taking a course, that helps a lot in learning about the course. That also gives you a perspective because of the hands-on approach, that how can you use this on real-world problems. When I was in IIIT, I think it was in the 6th semester that I took a course on soft computing with Professor G.C. Nandi. That was one course at that time which had a lot of assignments with practical hands-on approach, and various TAs from the professor who used to evaluate every week our assignments. I think in American universities, that is the case generally for all classes. So that could be cultivated at IIIT Allahabad, that you are taking 2 classes in a week based on theory, and then 1 class you've already given assignment to the student, and then you are evaluating the student based on what you taught in theory, but on the implementation. Image processing, Professor Mohan Trivedi used to give us assignments initially for small things like blur filters, or like these small different median mean filters. He used to first teach us for 2 classes that what are these filters, and then we had to do the same in the first week itself or the second week using these filters on images. By the 10th week, we could actually use like Kalman filtering and all to do some real world small application, like finding a path in an image and these kind of things. And then it inspires you not only for people who want to pursue research further, but also for engineers who want to solve problems in the real world as they open their own companies, or as they join different companies wherever in the world.
So we are pleased to tell that our faculty have been revamping the method of teaching learning. They've been doing that. We have redefined the whole credit as LTP. L is minimizing the listening. T is maximizing the transacting, and P is maximizing the participation in learning. So they are at it, and I'm very happy that they're also at a very different level of experimentation. Now that, as Professor Anupam mentioned, national education policy also has been very strongly, it has strongly worded that it is not stupid final examination which makes grading of a student, which qualifies as, it more quantifies the performance of the student. It doesn't really qualify a student. We are much before national education policy, IIIT Allahabad has taken up this, has given more importance to the continuous assessment or the formative assessment, like the one which you would have strongly enjoyed at the University of San Diego.
Exactly. I think, to be very frank with you, when I was in IIIT Allahabad, like most students there, and I'm sure you already know this, we used to study a lot more during exams and the week before the exam. Not like throughout the semester, but that was not the case in UCSD. You literally had to study every single week because you have assignments due or quizzes and everything going on every single week.
That's true. That's very true. And that's what I wanted you to emphasize, because naturally when I tell that, okay, the director, he will keep telling, they won't really experience that, the need of assignment, need of experiential learning.
Totally. When you come to the United States for graduate school, from IIIT Allahabad, I'm not saying about all institutions, but when you come from IIIT Allahabad to graduate school, it's a wake-up call in the first week.
It's a wake-up call for anybody who generally goes from India, but except who have been exposed in IITs or in advanced institutions where people would have depended upon the hands-on assignments.
Right.
Sir, there is one more question, one very interesting question from the audience side. Could you please share eureka and failure moments during research?
Eureka and failure. Well, there have been many failures. Like you send a research paper and it gets rejected. It's of course a failure because you wanted it to get published and now your timeline has been extended by 2-3 months. So that has happened, I think 2-3 times that research papers have been rejected. Another failure can be you are working on fabricating a printed circuit board, as I showed that I was also working with different sensors. You send it for fabrication, it comes back and you are like, because of this a small error is somewhere in the circuit, it all got messed up. So it took 2 weeks for you to fabricate it, but it's all gone. So you have to redo it for the next 2 weeks. These things happen. I think that's part of the process. Eureka moments, I mean, these have just been very small. There has not been any Eureka moment that has transformed my research or my life. When I was in Singapore, someone was using an EEG headset there. I couldn't use it at that time, but I was like, this should be a way in the future to communicate with different to communicate with our environment, just using your brain waves, and that got me interested in it. So that was, I think, a magical moment for me at the time, that just using your brain waves in some format to be able to control different sensors or control the environment around you. There has not been any such eureka movement, but there have been failures. There have been reckonings. Like again, I am very frank today. I will be very frank again. During my studies in IIIT Allahabad, until I was taking the courses in 6-7 semester when you can take elective courses, only then I used to score like 9 pointers or got a 10 pointer in the final semester, because then I was studying these things that I really wanted to study. But in the initial semesters in IIIT Allahabad, I was in the middle of the class. If the class is 80 people, I was somewhere at 40. So there have been these things, and when I came to UCSD, the first semester was really hard. But you have to keep working, keep making up for that. There have been many such failures. I have learned a lot from them.
Good.
So I think
Dr.
many
Siddharth,
questions.
I have one actually. Hello, Dr. Siddharth, are you able to listen me?
Yes, Professor.
Actually, we want to know if there is any possibility of having some collaboration with your university, UC SD or with Microsoft, because some students here, they are doing research, particularly one student, one PhD student with me is doing research on epilepsy seizure detection using EEG signals. And such activities are going on with the EEG data with other professors also. So what kind of collaboration you can help us to establish with IIIT and UCSD or Microsoft in that, I mean, you can think about, so that we have more actually connection with your previous university. So if you can help us in that, you can elaborate if possible.
So Microsoft actually would be very hard, because I am working in a very product-oriented team, and the work is like super secretive. I'm not in Microsoft research, which is more open to collaboration with universities. I'm rather in the human factors engineering lab. With UCSD, actually, you should contact Professor US Tiwari, because in 2017-18, I actually got a MOU signed between IIIT and UCSD. So I actually got MOU signed through my lab, my research advisor, Professor Ziping Jung, and between Professor Tiwari, US Tiwari signed. Professor US Tiwari was also visiting California last year, and I got him to visit my lab and meet my research advisors there that time. So I've already been working on these things, just that they were, I think, not pursued as much as they should have been later, but maybe we can revive them if we can see some opportunity.
Good, thank you, thank you.
Sir, there is one more question. As a research engineer, what is your suggestion to adjust myself with changing technology?
Well, is it coming from an undergrad student or from a researcher, or?
I guess. Can you please tell? The question is from? Sir, research scholar.
So research scholar, how to adapt for changing technologies. I think one, you have to keep reading research papers in your research field, whatever is the new research that is coming out. But I mean, this is cliched, right? You already know this. So I would say you have to focus on how you can utilize IIIT Allahabad to do good research, because again, you don't have as much funding available there. That's just a frank statement, as you have in a tier 1 university in the United States. So how can you use or develop applications where you are not buying equipment that may cost thousands of dollars and yet be able to do some cutting edge research? So you will have to yourself navigate across those things. Personally, for me, I navigated it at the time because these EEG headset and all, they can cost anywhere from $30,000, $50,000, $100,000. I got a very cheap one ordered when I was there, only for $3,000, which is again a lot of money for IIIT Allahabad. But then I worked on it on a small application that, okay, this is a commercial EEG headset. It will not give me medical grade signals, but can I like devise an application for this which solves a larger problem, or which at least can give me 1 or 2 research papers in some good journals, because that's what you need to show credibility when you are applying later for postdoc or for whatever in an American university. You need credibility, and the credibility will come when you will have good research papers. That you can do again when you can do good research in the means you have. If you are in computer vision, I think that's great, because you don't need to buy like big microwave or antenna or those kind of apparatus. You basically need some good GPUs and a camera, that's it. So a lot depends on your research area and how you can take care of all these practicalities.
I think, Deepthi, now it is almost midnight for Dr. Siddharth.
Right, it's
Yes,
11 p.m. But that's all right. If there are more questions, I'm used to sleeping late from my hostel days there.
Okay. So now I would like to request Professor Shishu Verma to please give a vote of thanks to Siddharth sir.
Respected Honorable Director sir, Coordinator of the program, Dean TPA, Professor Anupam Agarwal, my host, my alumnus, and speaker of this from India as an afternoon and from US as the evening and coming to an midnight, Dr. Siddharth, I just saw his face that I asked him whether he has studied WSN immediately. And if I really remember, I have not given A+ grade. If I have, you still remember that.
Yeah, A+ in triple IT, I used to surely get in all projects. In courses, it was like a rarity.
Yeah. So I just recall, and it was, I thank Dr. Siddharth and also all our alumnus that a bridge of the academic professions and the industry professions in terms of the knowledge and development for tomorrow is initiated. And this particular concept of this bridging will provide the proactivity to face the current challenges in the competitive professional scenario. Now, as far as the concept which really I have heard from Dr. Siddharth today, he was really a very hard-working earlier also, because during his 5 photos of the students of that placement when I saw, there was one person who was still selected in the SAP lab, which I remember in that. It is what I have seen, that it is from the beginning, one has to think out what next he has to do and how he has to move in life. Focus. It is not like that in middle of the ceremony, I say that I want this and then I will do this. And that is the only way to get the success and bridge ourselves to the professionalism and develop the culture of study, not only today, but till the end of the life. I thank Dr. Siddharth here and all my alumnus and all my faculty colleagues, heads, deans, and Honorable Director, sir, first, that his vision today has really met what Dr. Siddharth is using from the US. He is the man who has already guided us that rather going too many lectures and studying the too many books, in my state is also, I was using to really preface first of the book, Tom and Schilling and other network books, Valkenberg, and then I go to solve the problem. But really at the teaching end, I felt that coming out to the hands-on, coming out to the practicing, and coming out to the traditionally transforming our knowledge to the real practical view for the product tomorrow is more important. I thank all, and I request on behalf of IIIT, Dr. Siddharth, to be collaborated with us in terms of this, not only in terms of the seminar and others, but also to help us to get such a hands-on that once a day the product from IIIT comes out. Deepti Mishra, this is the third time anchoring I am hearing in my conference also. She did earlier, Dr. Satish Singh also, she did. I thank her that she has really developed the type of the questions. I don't know whether she has prepared or here only instantly she had vision that these types should be asked. And I thank her that really a good framework and the curtain has been developed. I thank our Honorable Director, sir, who has given his whole afternoon on this weekend and really helped us to understand how the alumnus can be a part of the IIIT Allahabad for tomorrow. Dr. Anupam Agarwal's hard work in not only in developing the webinar for the thinking about how linking of the alumnus can be made. I thank him. I thank all head of the departments, deans, faculty colleagues, all alumnus, and my current students, scholars, MTech scholars, undergraduate scholars, And in future, I also request Dr. Anupam Agarwal, let all research scholars be participating in all such types of the webinars and seminars. Thank once and all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Verma. Your advice take, and now we will request all the research scholars to compulsory join such things, because it will be very useful for them for future research work or postdoc, whatever. So, and I would like to thank our Honorable Director for sparing his valuable time and giving guidance to us and motivating us for doing these activities. Thank you very much to Deepthi. And I will request Deepthi actually to conclude, but before that, I will inform that we will be sending one certificate of appreciation to Dr. Siddharth for giving his valuable time and sharing his memorable events with TIT and his research, all these things. So so much thanks for him. And let Deepthi now conclude so that people may conclude this, please.
Before Deepthi concludes it, I would like to say thanks to Director Sir. Thank you to Professor Verma and Professor Agarwal for making this happen. I am both honored and humbled at this opportunity of sharing my thoughts with the IIITA family. Thank you also to Deepthi for being a wonderful moderator today. Just one bit of advice, if I can give, I would really love to see if these events can become more gender inclusive from next time, because I think the last webinar that happened, all were men, which I think does not represent the diversity of IIIT Islamabad. So that would be great. And except that, thank you very much to all of you for making this happen. And once again, I am honored and humbled at this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Siddharth. And I would be suggesting that you should get involved with many more conferences, webinars, which would be conducted here. Elsewhere also, I would be suggesting your name at known places so that they could invite you for a talk on a day which is convenient to you. All right, that's very good. And I should appreciate Deepthi, Deepthi, going to be Dr. Deepthi in the pipeline. I should appreciate she really did, as you conveyed, that she really did a good moderating work. I just said that instead of one lecture, you split it and, you extract excellent things from Dr. Siddharth, because he's young and energetic and you should put him in different directions. Well, then you did not speak on one important thing at all. I would definitely love to ask, who is the reason for all your success? Is your mother, father, parents, or your own dedication, commitment, focus, or anybody else in the life?
I think it's an equation which has all those elements together. Yeah. I don't know weigh all those elements, but definitely family, parents, grandparents, extended family, all the faculty members, IIIT Islamabad, my teachers from my school, my research advisor. This just all of them at some point in different ways have influenced me. Beyond them, I think even my friends have contributed a lot, or seniors have contributed a lot. At times, I remember seniors also contributing monetarily towards my projects, just out of goodwill. So there are just so many people, so many who have helped in different ways, and I am always very thankful to each of them.
So all the best, Dr. Siddharth. Thanks for sharing till late evening today. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day ahead.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Dr. Siddharth, thank you very much. It was a very good presentation, and go ahead. My blessings are there. Reach the top.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Siddharth.
Thank you, Professor. Thank you, Professor.
So thank you, Director Sir, Anupam Sir, Shishu Sir, Siddharth Sir, first of all, for saying some good words for me. And I would like to say to Dr. Siddharth, who took out some time out of his busy schedule, especially on this weekend, I would say that it proved to be a good brainstorming session for the students. So I would also like to say a big thanks to all the attendees for attending the seminar. So I think, thank you very much. Sure.
Thank you, Deepti. It was a brainstorming session for me too, and I think some of the things that we discussed will keep on going subconsciously in my mind for quite a while. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. So please do accept the invitations. If Dr. Siddharth, you would get some for some of these FDPs.
Sure, sure.
Okay. Good.
Sure, but I think we can also discuss later about other things. As I said.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'll leave the event now. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
I
you.
will
Thank
be
you.
leaving the event. Deepti,
Yeah.
well done. Anupam, nice.
Yeah.
Great welcome. Deepti,
Thank you very much for joining, sir. Thank you very much.
Bye, Siddharth.
Thank you, Deepti.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. चलिए वो ठीक